This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
A pleasant day. This is Freddie Abando. Welcome to our program Inside Congress. Today we focus on one of the young Turks in the House as we see that more and more members of the House are now younger and more dynamic as they set the tone of what the future of Congress would be, especially the House of Representatives. Joining us today is Congresswoman Monsour Del Rosario of the 1st District of Makati, who is also a well-known Taekwondo player. He is now the Secretary General of Taekwondo and was the Chef de Mission of the Philippines to Turkmenistan last year and will also be the Chef de Mission of the Philippines to the 2019 Southeast Asian Games, which we will host next year. A pleasant day to you, Congressman, and welcome to our program.
Freddie, nice to see you again.
Nice
It's
to
been
see
a
you
while.
again.
Yeah.
But anyway, SEA Games or Asian Games, as it is, we've seen that this could be the best performance of the Philippines in the Asian Games for quite some time, since maybe the 50s or the 60s, with 4 gold medals, and most of them are women winning. The big question that comes into play now is, where is sports development moving in this country, and what can Congress or the government provide in terms of ensuring these gains will go a long way, especially in the Southeast Asian Games?
Well, this recent success that they had, I'm very happy how the Philippine contingent performed. I was hoping and I was praying that they could break the performance they had in 2014 in the Incheon Asian Games. I was in the Incheon Asian Games, but I was just taking care of Taekwondo at the time. And we just got 1 gold, I don't know how many silvers and bronze, but I was hoping that we could get more than 1 gold. And here we are, we were able to get 4 golds. I'd like to congratulate the national team, CDM, Mayor Richard Gomez, DCDM, Robert Bachman, the POC officials led by President Ricky Vargas, Secretary General Pato Gregorio, the NSAs that were there, the leaders that were there supporting the athletes, the PSC support was there, and the gold medalists now, they will receive 6 million pesos. Unlike during my time, we didn't have that. So that's a lot of incentive. Hidilyn Diaz just became the first Filipina Asian champion in weightlifting. That's really great. She made history again. She won the first Filipina to win the silver in the Olympics. You can see that the talent of the Pinoys hindi nauubos. There's always talent. And somehow, whatever their NSAs are doing, I guess it's working because we're performing really well. I'm really happy because this is a good start and a good preparation also for the SEA Games next year when we're hosting it here in our country.
If you were to look at the performance of our athletes, especially the women as it is, and you look at the performance of the other athletes ranged against our fellow athletes from Southeast Asia, would you say that the standards are now based on a Southeast Asian game standard, an Asian game standard, or an Olympic standard?
Depending on what sport
say, for example, Taekwondo.
You're pertaining with. Well, Taekwondo. I've been there 38 years, 40 years.
You competed in 1988.
Yeah, from 82 to 89, I fought for the national team for our country. I've seen the best. Even after I've retired, as a fighter, I was a coach, I was a trainer, I was a head of team, and I've never left the association. Uh, Most of the world champions come from Asia in the combat sport of Taekwondo. Korea, being the founder of the sport, rules the world in that competition.
Up to now.
Up to now. And the ones that in the lighter divisions, after Korea, it's either Chinese Taipei, Iran, China. Those are all from Asia. Then come in the European countries. But majority of the winners in the lighter division come from Asia. The heavier divisions, like middleweight, maybe welterweight, heavyweight, come from Europe, South America, North America, that part of the world. So basically, when you compete in the Asian Games, it's like you're competing in the World Championships. So Taekwondo, really the powerhouse teams come from Asia.
You know, when you talk about training for training the best and training with the world standards, it's not just discovering and developing world-class athletes, but there are certain resources that you need to pour in, and that's where the national government is. And if you look at the maybe the amount that has been invested for the Asian Games, do you think it's substantial enough to say that it can compare, say for example, with Singapore or Jakarta, which used to be, they just used to trail us, but they have proven one thing in the Jakarta Asian Games. Are you sad?
I'm happy how their output
Our
turned out.
output, despite
Yeah,
the
yeah.
limited resources.
Yes. But to compare our sports program to the Indonesian sports program, malayo pa tayo, Fred. Compare it to Thailand, malayo pa tayo. Na actually,
Saan ba tayo nagkulang?
Naiwanan na tayo ng ibang bansa, ng neighboring countries natin. Kung pupunta ka sa Thailand, you go to Thailand, malupit yung mga sports facilities nila. Parang beach resort. 4 ang kwan nila doon na really fantastic training centers.
Dito sa Pilipinas?
Indonesia is able to host
Yeah.
Asian Games.
Yeah, for a SIGA, a Southeast Asian nation,
we
di ba?
haven't done that since 1955 or 57 or 56. We don't have the facilities. We can't. Maybe, if we build, which I'm really happy now that our government, President Duterte's administration is building a nice big sports facility in Clark, in the new Clark City. That will be a big boost for our sports program in the country. And when you travel around the Philippines, you see a lot of stadiums and swimming pools and football fields that sometimes are sayang, are dilapidated, that are not taken care of, which can also be used as a venue. I also know in Davao, Davao del Norte, they're building a big stadium there. The former Speaker of the House, Congressman Pantaleon Alvarez, showed me his project of the sports football stadium, which will hold a capacity of about 30 to 40,000 people. That's a big project. So, the more facilities we have and we maintain them, and we all know that we're all fighting, the administration is fighting the drug problem against, the youth and everybody in our country. And I really believe that sports can be an alternative venue for all these kids to burn their energies to something more constructive in their life.
So how should Congress, the national government, or even local government officials, local government officials can come together for one common agenda?
Well, you know what, Fred? Sad to say that, when I was in the minority group in Congress, I was a member of many committees. And when I was taken out of the minority group and I joined the majority, for a while I was not part of any committee.
During the time of Speaker Alvarez or
Yes,
Speaker
no,
Arroyo?
there was right now, what I can say right now is, I'm not a member of any committee. So, hindi ako pwedeng makialam. Unless they ask for my opinion, they ask me to attend their meeting, to be, kasi if I join the meeting and I start voicing out what I say, baka sabihin nila, hindi ka naman member dito salita ka ng salita. Di ba? Baka mahirap. I don't know. I don't want to step any on boundaries that I'm not part of. Although I'm friends with everybody, I'm okay with most of them, but right now I am not part of any committee. So if they invite me, as I was speaking to Manny Lopez, Congressman Manny Lopez yesterday, and he was saying, when the sports people come back and we hold a hearing, can you join me? I said, yeah, sure. Of course, I'll support you. I'll support sports. I said, but I'm not anymore in the committee. They took me out. So, I said, doesn't matter. You're the only Olympian in Congress, and you understand all of this. So I said, okay.
Taking off from your experience, from the experience of our Philippine team, and your experience in Turkmenistan when you were the chef de mission, between now and December of next year, when the Philippines will host the Southeast Asian Games, how should the preparations on our athletes be? You have also to contend with politics among our NSAs. How do we come up with a program by which all NSAs can come together for just one common goal, win gold and glory, di ba? You've seen the best and worst of politics in Philippine sports. You're thinking deeply, but there is hope.
Okay.
Di ba? There's
Okay.
hope for coming together.
Okay. I don't wanna make pakialam other NSAs. But obviously, there are problems in different NSAs. Okay, I'm not gonna mention what particular sport because a lot of them are my friends. What I want to happen in the SEA Games is we field in the best swimmer, the best runner, the best fighter, the best golfer, the best whatever sport it is.
Especially for the medal-rich sports.
Yes, because here in the Asian Games, I'm sure, I don't wanna say that they could have done better. I'm really happy they did really good. But I know they could have probably garnered more because I've been hearing that there are some NSAs that have factions that do not send really the best of the best. So
That's because they cannot come together.
yes, and I want to speak to the president when he comes back, President Ricky Vargas of the Philippine Olympic Committee, and the board, and ask, of course the board, but really Ricky and the SecGen, Patrick Gregorio, and ask them if we can fix this, animosity between a particular NSA which has other factions on this particular sport, and if we can hold an elimination event and find out who really is the best, and then we put that athlete to represent our country in the SEA Games because we're hosting it. And hindi tayo pwede mapahiya, Fred. Kailangan mapakita natin sa bayan natin na mahusay ang Pilipino, magaling ang mga Pilipino, at hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na later on sabihin, hindi, meron mas magaling dyan pero hindi siya nakalaro dahil sa politika. Sana ibigay talaga yung karapat-dapat yung pinakamagaling na atleta natin para taas ang noo natin and our flag will go up, and madalas natin marinig yung bayang magiliw. Mag-overall champion tayo, pero mahirap mag-overall champion.
Yeah, I know that.
Ang target ko is mga third place lang, no? 1, 2, 3, top 3. Pero kung mahabol ng overall championship, why not, di ba?
You're talking of how many sporting events in the Southeast Asian Games?
I'll have to sit down with Chairman Bambol Tolentino, Congressman Tolentino. He's the one that's meeting all the NSAs. I haven't sat down with any of them. I discuss it with him sometimes briefly in Congress, but I don't want to bother them kasi I want them to focus in the Asian Games. So ayoko mangulit sa kanila. But
Pero ngayon, uumpisan mo na yan.
ngayon patapos na itong Sunday ang closing ceremonies ng 18th Asian Games in Incheon in Indonesia. When they return, siguro after mga 3 weeks, 1 month, maybe I'll set a meeting with them and then, I'll say, okay, we're done. Congratulations. Job well done. This is our next target, our next mission. Okay, let's start preparing for it because, we have only, we only have less than a year. Less than a year. No.
No,
A little more than a year.
little more.
November,
Kasi
December.
December yun eh, di ba?
November, December yun.
If we were to look back at the history of the Philippines' participation in the Southeast Asian Games, 1991, 91 gold medals, we nearly won the overall championship, di ba?
No, sorry, 2005. We were
2005.
overall. 91, we almost did.
We almost did.
Yeah,
That's where. Did you compete pa there?
I was the trainer of the national team.
Bea
already.
Locero then.
Yes. Stephen Fernandez.
From gymnastics went to taekwondo and won the gold medal. But as it is, yung 2005, we won it.
Yeah.
Does it depend? Is it based mainly on the sports that were in the calendar of events, or is it because there was more support given to our athletes and they trained for it, and there was less of politics?
Well, I think it's almost everything you said. All the ingredients needed, what you said, was there, and they performed well. The support was there, and I guess that's how we won the championship. Sometimes, Fred, kasi when a hosting country has the privilege to host the games, they obviously have an advantage. That's a given already. Like last year in Malaysia, we were supposed to have 8 division fighters to compete in taekwondo.
How many competed?
But Malaysia, being the host country, said all of you around Southeast Asia can only send 4 fighters. We have 8 fighters, and then we compete, right? And then we want to choose our fighters, where I said, okay, we're going to send 4, we'll send the best. The problem is they choose what weight division they want us to fight in. And they know who are strong in our country. So they'll choose the weaker fighters. So we'll have a harder time to get that gold medal in the SEA Games. So that happens, right? So now that we're hosting, I'll have to sit down with them and ask them, are we okay to, also have that advantage? Because that will help a lot for us to get that overall championship.
When you talk about discovering and developing talents, how much would it cost really? I'd like to look at taekwondo as it is. Kailangan ba ng maraming pera dyan o pondo?
Hindi kasing dami ng basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Ang basketball, ang laki ng perang
And even volleyball now.
nabubuhos doon, di ba? I mean, times 20 yata sa nakakuha ng taekwondo or boxing or it doesn't cost that much.
But
not as much as basketball.
When
that's
you
for
look
sure.
you have been in Congress for 2 years now, and if you look at the budget for the Philippine Sports Commission or even the National Youth Commission, the budget that is provided for source from PCSO and even PAGCOR.
Well,
Wala yan, walang kwenta, no?
I don't want to criticize.
No, but we have to be realistic. If you were to compare it on a per capita with other ASEAN nations,
malayo pa tayo.
Malayo tayo.
Vietnam, naiwan na tayo ng Vietnam. Thailand talaga naiwan na. Cambodia, kaya pa natin.
Kaya pa natin yun. Yung nga sinasabi ko
malayo, pero yung iba naiwanan na tayo sa setup ng programa nila. The thing is, I guess our sports leaders, they have to figure out where the money should be spent. What is the sport where we could excel? What is the sport that we are continuously harvesting medals in the Asian Games, in the Olympic Games, in the SEA Games, where we get what sport delivers the golds, right? And focus more on that, develop more on that. Then the others, okay, where they're also winning. You know, Fred, when we started in Taekwondo, when Michael Kion was
I know.
Gintong Alay Project, Gintong Alay head.
I was the very first
When I was still
journalist or
yes,
writer who
you were
covered
yes.
the Asia.
When you used to
Taekwondo.
interview us before when we were fighters, I remember him telling us when we had a courtesy call with him in Gintong Alay. I think it was 1985 or no 84.
No, 84. That's
84 or
because
85.
that was the first time the Asian Taekwondo
Yes,
Championships
84.
was held in the
Yeah.
In the Philippines, and Arnold Baradi won the gold there.
medal. Yeah, Arnold Baradi became the first Filipino Asian champion in Taekwondo. The year after that, we had to travel to London and Korea to compete. And at that time, Michael Kion was not so supportive of us. He said, okay, I'll give you this one shot. You guys, I'll take care of everything. You guys go to London. You go and fight in Crystal Palace, fight in the World Games. You win one medal, I will support your program. We were new. Nobody knew if we could win abroad or not. And we went. Arnold Baradi and Mike Ventosa came home with the silver medal. They were ranked number 2 in the world. We were 5 fighters. Then a few months later, 10 of us were sent to the World Championships in Korea. I was able to salvage the bronze medal, came back, and we all went to Michael Kion, and he was so happy. Then from that time on, he was full support with us. So there are certain sports that, you know, we have not discovered the potential of the Filipino athlete. And recently, yesterday, a skateboarder, a Filipino skateboarder, won the gold.
Who trained in the States.
Who went to train in the States. So, you know, let's focus on that. You know, 4 years ago, Kaluag won the gold medal as a BMX biker. Now he won the bronze again. Why don't we put some attention to that medal-rich sport instead of I'm not degrading basketball. I love basketball. I play basketball. I watch the NBA. You know, Filipinos love basketball, but parang we're putting too much. Are putting all our eggs in one basket with basketball. That's all lang that's my personal opinion. But we should look at other sports where we could get those medals.
What is the impact of, what do you think is the impact now of those who won the gold medal to our youth in terms of how they should view them, how our youth should view what winning is all about for as long as it is the country?
Well, they're heroes as far as I'm concerned. They're the young heroes. They're the ones that the youth should look up to. They should be role models to the youth. I mean, it's not easy to win a medal in the Asian Games. Wow. Those young athletes now, what they did, saludo ako sa kanila. Because I know what it takes to win. It's so difficult. A bronze there is like a gold in Southeast Asia. A gold there, wow, that's like a bronze or silver in the Olympics.
In the Olympics.
That's high-level competition.
You know, we're running out of time, Congressman. But then let's look at the future. This is your first term. I'm sure you may be running for re-election, but I've heard that you may be included in the Magic 12 of the president's. I mean, do you have any ambitions to become a senator in the future?
I'm in the long list of 24 candidates being selected by PDP Laban, but that's not final. You know, I really don't know. I leave it up to God.
Are you ready for that if that happens?
You know, who am I to decline the president? If the president Duterte would say, you know, I want you in my senatorial slate, who am I to say no to him, right? I'm not in a rush. Hindi ako atat na kailangan nandyan ako. I'm happy where I am. So, you know, I'll leave it to God to where He wants to put me. Because I'm fine to run as another term as a congressman in Makati. I'm in no rush. You know what I mean? I mean, in fact, if I run in Makati as congressman, I'm already aware of the dynamics and the terrain and the job, you know. You know, the higher calling of the higher office is more responsibility. It'll be nerve-wracking. You know, I don't know if I have the chance to make it, You know, there's a lot of them that will join the senatorial race. But who am I to decline? So, you know, I'm just honored that, you know, they put me in the 24 candidates that are being chosen. So, you know, it's up to the people. The one who prays that I come in and God answers it, then maybe more people want it. If I don't make it, it's fine with me also. But what I want is to win the Southeast Asian Games next year. Well, of course, I want to win the election, whatever position I run in, but winning the SEA Games
Is a must.
we have to do it. We all have to do it together. I can't do it alone.
Briefly, a final word from you, Congressman. A final word.
Final word? Well, I just want to congratulate all the athletes that went to the Asian Games. Kahit natalo o nanalo, the fact na nandun kayo, pinaglaban nyo yung bansa natin. Tuwing nakikita ko sa periodiko, sa Facebook, sa social media, sa TV, naalala ko 32 years ago nung nakipag-upakan ako sa World Champion. At naglabang kami para sa medalya. Natalo ako sa kanya, pero nakauwi ako ng medalya nung panahon na yun. So, thank you for reminding me of who I was 32 years ago.
Well, thank you very much, Congressman.
Thank you.
Congressman Manuel Monsour Del Rosario of the 1st District of Makati City, a former Taekwondo player, winner of medals for the Philippines, sharing with us his views on what should be done for Philippine sports as we prepare for the Southeast Asian Games next year to be hosted by our country. For Inside Congress, this is Freddie Abando saying a pleasant day to all of you.